Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division in the Ghostly Glades tournament. This video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go! So we're going to start off with hole number 1. I'm going to, first and foremost, we're going to add 20% to our adjustment here. Why do we do that? We're playing massively downhill, that is the reason why. So 7.3 is going to give us a little bit more than 5 rings with the Thor's hammer. You can see I'm stretching out my adjustment to just look for where I want my ball to land, and then I do adjust my rings from that position. So 5.3 rings. You can see as well I'm using max side spin to the left with the Titan. I'm also using all but 1 bar of backspin here, and that is the only mistake I do believe I do here, that I would be needed to play with max backspin here to get that ball to stop on the green. So, but in the end we do get to the green, like to the fringe, and going to have an easy wedge to make an eagle here for hole number 1. And that is the thing we're going to be needed to do. When you're going to see a lot of players that is going to miss that drive going into the bunker most of the time because they do forget to add for elevation. So, and oh wow, my opponent playing with a that's impressive, I will have to say. That is very, very important. You can play with a Kingmaker as well if you want to reduce the wind even more, but it's not necessary. It's still going to be the same type of approach. But yeah. And we go with hole number 1, and here we can we need to have an eagle. If we don't get an eagle for hole number 1, we're definitely going to be not off, but definitely going to lose a shot towards the win. So we can see here we do have a very easy wedge, and that is a wedge that we should be making every single day. So before hole number 2, check down in the video description down below, and you will be able to see the timestamp for the specific holes in the playthrough. Also, if you do want to book a training session with me, check out patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Now we're going to play with a Kingmaker. And why do we play with a Kingmaker? The reason we play with a Kingmaker is to reduce the wind as much as possible. Playdemic and the Golf Clash team is making it hard for us here with giving us this wind, because it kind of makes the rough bump way harder than if the wind would be coming like straight headwind or tailwind or side wind from right to left. So now we're going to play with Kingmaker, and I'm going to play with max side spin so I can aim as much to the right in the rough as possible. 2 bars of top spin with a little tiny bit more is going to be my adjustment. I'm just going to have the red ring falling outside the rough, and from this position I'm going to adjust 6.2 rings. But also in the end there, I'm putting up my landing position just a tiny little bit to just make myself not lose the distance, because when we're dropping down and having a lower trajectory, that just means that we're going to lose distance with our shot, and that is important to do. So we do miss that one slightly, and the thing that we do want to do here to just make sure that we're not going to miss it slightly next time is to aim a little bit with the ball guideline on what will it be, on the left side of the pin from the pin's side, and then we're going to hopefully make that one. But I do feel very comfortable with the rough bump there, and I played 1-on-1, which is 1 ring per mile per hour. Hole number 3, here we're going to play with the X mile level 7, going to play 3.2 rings. That is with 10% over adjusted because we do play downhill. Max curl with the extra mile 7, max top spin, which is 4.5 bar, and then also as much side spin to the right as possible. The thing that we do want is of course to take away the bunker completely in play that we do have on the left side of the island where we landed on. And I'm playing with a katana, which is absolutely enough. We can play with a quasar as well. And the only thing I do suggest you don't do is to play on the left side here. I don't believe that the left side is going to be a good way to play. You can, if you do want to play with a tiny bit of overpower and have a good decent backspin on your club, like this one for an example, with X mile 6 having 4 bars of backspin at least, then you can go directly onto the island there on top and let it bounce directly on it and make the ball stay. So our opponent cuts the rough, but in the end doesn't really matter, because just going over to this fairway definitely going to be a possible chance for the pin here. So now we're going to play with a sniper, 5.9 in wind, power 2 ball. We are in medium distance of our club. And the thing that I'm going to do here is that I'm going to play it medium distance, but I'm going to put it 10% extra for this shot, because this shot is going to affect the ball more than it looks. Kind of weird, but it has always been like that. You can see I'm having the ball guide line on the right side a little bit of the pin, but also one square behind, like before the pin, to just adjust for the bounce that we're going to have, which is going to be an extended bounce because of the tailwind. You can see here coming that a longer first bounce, but if we would be coming in straight to the pin, that would definitely be in hole 1. So I think the problem for me on this hole is that I have very hard time, especially if I don't zoom in a lot, to see the ball guide line with the sniper as it gets so bright. And that is something that I need to do, as it felt that I was a little bit too much to the right of the pin with my ball guide line. So now we're coming in here, and we're coming in on hole number 4, and here it is it's possible for us to get over to that island, but the problem is that we don't have enough topspin, and then it's going to be too dangerous. I do suggest that if you do have like at least 6-7 bars of topspin, you can definitely play on the island. But you know, it's going to be putting the water in play. And for me, with the club that I'm having here, I'm going to play it on the island where we are going to have the first bounce, max curl to the left, and max side spin to the left, and max top spin as well with the XMI level 7. And that is going to put ourselves nicely down there. And now we're going to have a wedge for the pin. The thing that I do want to achieve here is that I do want to have a short iron to go for the max backspin approach. But with the tailwind that we're going to have and the power 3 ball, we're going to have a wedge. And that wedge is going to be tough. So it's almost that I'm going to try to dial in the dunk. So let's just take this one a little bit from the start here. If we do have a driver with at least 6 bars of topspin, then we can try bounce it on the second island on the top right to do a double bounce over towards the green and potentially have a putt there for the pin, or just an easy wedge. But then we do risk the water, and something that we really need to have in mind. So then we play conservative, and we play on the left side, max curl to the left, and max top spin, max side spin there. You can see we do have a wedge in max distance of our wedge. I'm just going to do it here. You can see how bumpy the green is here. That is very, very hard to estimate how the ball is going to bounce. You're going to see it here also on my shot. I do aim on a position where the green is pretty flat. But you can see here now, when we're making this shot, looked good when we did adjust it. But you can see here, look how bumpy it is. And that in the end, it pushes us out to the right. Which is in the end is going to be very hard to estimate and needs to be a little bit lucky. That is why I do feel a thorn backspin dunk is going to be a possible play to go with there, to just, yeah, so we don't are relying on the bounces, and because that is the thing that I have a problem with on that hole. It's like we're going to have to rely on the two bounce on the green. Which both are going to be bumpy, and even if we're going to be right on top, it's going to give ourselves that mental feeling like, oh my god, now I need to change, and yeah. Okay, oh, that was close to the rough there. Our opponent is playing with a basic ball here. I do suggest that first and foremost you're going to play with a ball that do give you a good amount of backspin, which the Titan is going to be good here. We're going to go max backspin, max side spin with the quarterback level 9, and we're going to aim up so we do have the blue ring just cutting the bunker on the right. And you can see here again, it's very hard to see the ball guide line here when we do have the aerial view. But the thing that we want to achieve is that we want to have the tip of the ball guideline, even though that is not even though that is not max ball guideline. We do want to have the end of it to just be in line or aligned with the pin. Now we go with a little bit too little with the curl, but we're also coming in a bit short. This is going to be a very easy birdie for us. But to get the hole in one here, we need to first and foremost, we need to add, instead of playing it from medium distance of our club, we're going to play it in max distance of our club, and then we're going to use one ball of curl outside to the right so we can kick ourselves in towards the pin. Important. And with that shot swell, we do add 20% extra to the adjustment because we're playing that one downhill. So max numbers with 20% extra. So now we're going to play with a quarterback again, 6.5 rings, and we're going to be almost in max distance of our club, but I'm going to play it with max numbers here. Why do I play with a quarterback? The reason I'm playing with a quarterback is because I do get more control, a better accuracy, a better ball guideline, and then I can definitely just play according to my club. And also, if I do hit my ball great, and due to a better accuracy, it's definitely going to be possible for me to not get like all over the place, as the extra mile is going to be harder with a lower accuracy. I'm going with a club that gives me I am going to play with a max 5 bars of top spin, and I'm going to go max side spin to the left. You can see as well that I was using the curl to the left, one ball of curl outside to the left. It's going to be the general adjustment to just kick my ball inside to the left as well, and that is going to put ourselves close there to the top on the rough. And then we're going to have a sniper approach, and that is an approach that I do like big time. I do think that is definitely going to be a good approach for an albatross. So the drive as well, we're going to add 10% extra to our adjustment because we're playing it slightly downhill. So don't forget about that when you're making a shot. And I do highly suggest that you do play with the quarterback. The wind doesn't allow us to play on the left side, as we're going to have some slight headwind. So take away the thought of playing on the left side every single time you play this hole, and now in this tournament we're just going to play right side. So now we're going to be in medium distance of our club here, but again I can see that I'm aiming a little bit too much to the right of the pin here, and I'm going to play this one 5.3 rings, and I'm not adding I'm not using any backspin, any top spin, any side spin. It looks okay, but with the bounce here, it seems like we're getting a bit more push out to the right than estimated. But I do suggest that you do play this shot. If, let's say, you have 5 in wind, then you play it with 4.7 rings. So you do take away, you play 1-on-1, but take away 0.3 to your adjustment. And that is definitely going to help you. So, okay, so now on this shot here, and now I'm going to make a tiny change now with tailwind on this one. As for trying this one out, we're going to have to add 10% extra to our drive here. As with tailwind, we're going to carry further than I was expected from the beginning. So important to change that in your notes, because in my notes it said that I'm not going to add for elevation here whatsoever. So I'm going to add 10%, playing with a Thor Salmon level 5 to give myself some more top spin. So I'm going with max top spin here, which is going to be 6 bars of top spin. And with a couple bars on the right, to the right. If you do have a berserker ball to spare, and you do have a club that you maybe have a little bit more yards than the Thor Salmon, then it's potential to go on the right side. But again, it's the same on every division. If you don't feel comfortable playing on that tiny space between the rough and the bunker, trying to hit that fairway, then you're not going to do that either. Then you need to play yourself up on the left, because the worst thing here is that you go into the water. But again, it's going to be possible to get this ball to the green, but it kind of is needed for you to have the clubs for it as well. Now from this distance we're going to play with either a long iron or a short iron. And the short iron is the club that I'm looking for to play with. And then I do want to go directly on to the pin. And that is going to, again, it's going to be a very bumpy green here, which is going to take away some opportunities here when it comes to where we can land. You can see here now, if I'm going to go max backspin with my club here, then I'm going to have to be in the area where it is as bumpiest on the green. And that is a smart move from the game makers. You can see here, that bumpy part there is where I do want to land, but that is definitely not going to help me anything there. So on this case, I'm going to use the bounce before the hump there, but I actually suggest to go with bouncing a little bit before actually using the fringe. I know, I usually say don't play on the fringe, but that is the only thing that I find pretty decent in terms of consistency on this particular shot. Getting it to bounce to the pin, but not really feeling it there. So that approach needs some improvement. But with a little bit more backspin, then we could potentially put ourselves in the hole there. But again, it's so important there with your drive. If you want to play aggressively, do so. But have in mind that you're taking a huge risk as you're playing with such a tiny space when it comes to the tiny bit of fairway there. And you need to play with a power 5 ball and give yourself some more room with the distance. Hole number 8, now we go with 3 bars of side spin to the left. I'm not going to add anything here when it comes to top spin or backspin. I'm going to play this one-on-one as well, which means 1 ring per mile per hour, which is going to be 6.4 rings. 3 bars of side spin just because I do want to put myself away from the rough and from the bunker on the left side. You can see here coming in a little bit to the right, but that is because we do forget to adjust the ball guidelines position a half a square to the left because of the wind is pointing to the right. So also talking about that, like you're using the side spin to the left, the 3 bars will give me a way to stay away from having to adjust down into the bunker and into the water, which is otherwise going to slightly change the trajectory of my shot, and I'm going to have to do minor changes with my adjustment. And I do want to stay to play one-on-one on this shot, and it works beautifully. Both hole number 2, the new par 3, and this hole number 8, new par 3 as well. Then playing it one-on-one with the sniper works perfectly. I'm playing with a Kingmaker as well to reduce the wind as much as possible, as we did have a bit much wind to my taste there, and also to stay away from having to adjust down into the bunker and the water on the left. So hole number 9, last but not least, and here we are like blessed with some really good wind. Here we don't have to do that what can I say, that much really for getting it where we want to. Again, as I said in the regular like the playthrough before the tournament start, and also in the hole guide, don't see this as an albatross hole, see it as an eagle hole. Otherwise you're going to most likely push this too hard, and that shot my opponent's doing there is not going to give him that much in terms of advantage. It's going to just be a very risky drive, because if you reach into the bunker or in the rough, you're most likely not going to be able to reach for the green in 2. So I'm going to use max top spin, max as much side spin to the right as possible. Going to line up some of the tip of the ball guideline, showing that we're going to hit the rough on the like closest to the fairway in the middle. I'm going to add 10% to our adjustment here. And that is going to be a key adjustment as well, 10% extra to get the ball to bounce where we want to. You can see here coming in very, very nicely and perfectly aligned with the rough there on top, as I was talking about. And 346, 350 yards is going to be really good. You can see here our opponent here, sure, it can go for the pin, but again, it's not going to be a good opportunity for an albatross. So I do feel that pushing it too hard with the drive is going to break it more than it will make it for you. I'm going to play with the Cataclysm here, and I'm actually going to change to the Sniper now. Not now, but like for the play in the regular tournament when I play it again. Reason for that is that we're going to definitely have no problem to reach with the Sniper, and it's easier to control with a better accuracy and a better ball guide. The reason I play with the Cataclysm is to give myself away, because I didn't know the wind going into this hole. Then it's better to play with a club that gives me more distance, especially on this par 5. 2.5 rings. I'm going 1.5 ball of curl to the left, 2 bars of top spin. But now we're coming in and hit it great on the left, which is going to make it miss on the left side as well. But you can see here, we're rolling, we're getting it to the fairway / fringe, and that is going to be a very much easy eagle for us, and that is what we're looking for hole number 9. So thanks a lot for watching this playthrough for Pro Division. Sorry for my voice as well. The thing that we'll have to have in mind here, that I do believe we're going to see scores around -28, 29, 30 to be able to win the tournament. That's going to be tough, but the holes this time are definitely going to invite us to get a lot of drops, or let's say we're going to get a lot of opportunities. Then we will have to push it as hard as possible to make them drop. That is why I do believe the score is going to be that high with this type of wind. So the video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Do not forget to hit the thumbs up on the video as well, and then make a comment on in the comment section below if you do have any questions. Good luck in Pro Division in the Ghost League Ladies tournament.